getting set to take on 23.1, a repeat of 14.4. Rowing, toes to bar, wall ball shots, cleans, and muscle ups. Now, two of the athletes on the floor have done this before. Laura Horvath, as we mentioned, 180 reps. That was back in 2014. I'm sure she will beat that here this evening. And Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson put up a score of 251. So got back to the rower, but unable to complete those 60 calories in round two. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape presented by Wild Health. For the men, Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson and Lazar Jukic, two men who were right next to each other when it was all said and done on the overall leaderboard at the 2022 Noble CrossFit Games.
What I love about this is this is such a great test for these two athletes and their skill sets. They've got a little bit of mix and match in there. BKG's strength and skills when it comes to the rings, but Jukic's engine is one of the top that we've seen, so I can't wait to see these two go head-to-head.
On the women's side, Laura Horvath comes in ranked second in the world. Gabby Magawa is sixth. Friends off the competition floor, now frenemies on it.
And you love to see them compete against each other. They're happy when they're side by side, but here on the floor, they're going to be going for it. I'm really curious to see how Gabby can hang with Laura, especially with the row and those muscle ups at the end.
Let's talk about the recipe for success presented by Trifecta. Did you add any ingredients here?
I mean, this is what selective intensity is, exactly what we're talking about to lead things off. Be very selective where you are intense in this chipper, and be humble before the rings. Get yourself there the right way, and don't overthink or don't have any high expectations of your ability when you get to the rings.
Let's get this thing started. To get us kicked off, back to competition director Adrian Bosman.
Madrid, get ready in 10 seconds. Three, two, one, go!
Here we go. 60 calories on the rower to start us off here in 23.1 from the Cajamarca in Madrid, Spain. Lazar Jukic, Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, Laura Horvath, and Gabriela Magawa.
First 60 cals. Well, here's the thing. 10 years ago, everything was a bit of a bind until you got to the rings, because maybe you got through and got to the rower. If you're a male or female athlete, 4 men actually got to the toes of bar. We're talking about 10 years removed, 10 years of people improving their fitness worldwide. If you're gonna get to the toes of bar as a male athlete, you're actually gonna have to push the pace a little bit harder than you may want to for the entirety of this. And on the women's side, it's just how strong they have gotten on muscle capacity, barbell cycling, and these monostructural movements. So I'm very excited to see what the women do this year.
Sam Briggs at the top score in 2014 for the women, 256 reps. That's 56 calories on the rower in round two. Cara Saunders was second that year at 236 reps. Lazar Jukic is already halfway through, more than halfway through. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson a couple calories behind him. Laura Horvath right there as well.
See Lazar staying very relaxed, taking some big deep breaths in there, just trying to make sure he's getting a lot of oxygen into the body, because we're gonna, once we get to the toes to bar wall ball shots, when those legs start getting involved, it's gonna be starting to suck the oxygen out of the muscle. So being nice and long here, nice breathing pattern, and just trying to keep that heart rate down, because getting off the rower right around 230 or so is as fast as you really need to go if you want to make sure that you can put some intensity on the later parts of this test.
It's only 6 calories remaining for Jukic. Magawa's got 20 left. Gudmundsson into his final 10, and Horvath with 15, now 14 to go. And Jukic is done. About 2 minutes, 10 seconds for Lazar Jukic on the row. Now to the 50 toes to bar.
And a sign of a decent pace is how quick your transitions are from movement to movement. And the fact that he hops off at about a 2:14, 2:15, about a 5-second transition to toes to bar, that's a very confident and comfortable Lazar Jukic.
Because Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, Laura Horvath with 5 calories remaining. Gabriela Magawa with 6. So McGowan's been able to close the gap a little bit on Horvath here in the latter part of the 60-calorie row. 14 minutes here in 23.1.
Jukic is ripping off a huge set to start this off. But if you think about some of his strengths, long aerobic tests, some work capacity, toes to bar, his performance in 2021 in that toes to bar run event, I mean, this is definitely one that sets him up for success.
Horvath and McGowan got to the pull-up bar about the same time. McGowan is going to re-chalk her hands as Jukic ripped off a set of 25 and then got back to work at the 110 rep mark is when he will move on to the wall balls. So Jukic with 10 remaining. Gudmundsson about ready to hit the 100 mark. Laura Horvath at 80 and counting. Gabby McGowan back to work on her toes to bar. That's what awaits. The wall balls, 40 reps. As Jukic is going to get done with 60 calories on the rower and 50 toes to bar in less than 4 minutes.
I mean, that's very impressive feat. And again, as I said, look at the transitions if you want to tell how comfortable an athlete is going from movement to movement. He just basically hit the ground, turned around, pick it up. Same thing for Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson, even though he got a no rep on that first shot.
And once again, the standard for the wall ball this year a little bit different. The middle of the ball has to be clearly above the line, not at the line, clearly above it. Gudmundsson on to the wall balls as well. 150 rep mark. They'll head to the barbell for the 30 cleans. Laura Horvath is now done with her 50 toes to bar. Gabby McGowan with just 6 remaining on that movement. And that should not be a problem for the number 6 woman in the worldwide rankings. And now she's finished. Gudmundsson and Jukic continuing to work on the wall balls. Gudmundsson another no rep. Now Jukic knocked out all 40, and he's right to the barbell and right to work.
And just look how comfortable he is. Calm face, easy breathing. He's not gasping for air. And that steady single pace is that this is an opportunity for these athletes who had a strong row, big sets on toes to bar, unbroken on the wall ball shots. Now they have an opportunity, I would say not to catch their breath because that would be overstating it just a little bit, but a time to just kind of pull back on the intensity a bit, do quick singles, because quick, easy singles here is going to set yourself up for hopefully less sets on the rings.
Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson is onto the cleans as well. 180 is the number they're looking to hit before they will head to the rings. And Gabby McGowan closing out her wall balls. Horvath is on to the barbell. Laura Horvath, who again in 2014 didn't get a single muscle up.
No, she didn't, but again, that was 10 years ago. And there's one thing that people might not understand or know about Laura Horvath, is that she is actually very good at ring muscle-ups. In 2018, when we had the 30 ring muscle-ups for time, she placed 3rd in that event, and that was her rookie debut at the CrossFit Games.
She often gets attention for what she can't do and not credit for all the things that she can do.
Right, so we're talking about one thing she can't do as well as as you said, Sean, everything else that she is good at. And this is an event that I really like for Laura Horvath. And for her is just getting the season started. Obviously, we have no Tia Toomey this year, so it's wide open at the top when you think about games podium. But I really like this test for Laura Horvath's skill set.
Lazar Jukic has now just 2 reps remaining before he will get to the rings. Bjorgvin Gudmundsson, 6 reps back of him. And Jukic is done. 7 minutes, 12 seconds to get through all that work. The tie break time, again, is the time at which you get to the rings. Lazar Jukic ripping away now on the rings, and Laura Horvath is going to demolish her time from 14.4 as she makes it to the rings. Gabby McGowan with 5 reps to go. Bjorn Gudmundsson has finished his cleans, and he is onto the rings as well. Gudmundsson in 2014 did get back to the rower. He was able to complete 256 calories.
Laz on the far left, ripped off a set of 7.
Gudmundsson goes 4 and breaks. Laurel Horvath is continuing to stay on the rings through 5 of those 20 reps, now 6.
We touched on the compounding effect of this chipper. The 60-cal row to start. It's going to be lungs, legs, and biceps. Then you move to the toes to bar, grip, core, hip flexors. If you go to the wall ball shots, legs, hip flexors, shoulders, and then the power cleans of the the hip extension hinge and that rack position all lead to make this as hard as it can be for just 20 reps on the rings.
So Bjorn Gudmundsson get a no rep for failing to completely lock out at the top. Gabby McGowan onto the rings. 5 reps and a break for her. Laura Horvath now with 10 to go.
And that dip out is the hardest part of the ring muscle up if you have the capacity to do multiple reps. It's not getting on top of the rings that's the toughest part for a ring muscle up. People think it's just a pulling movement. It's not. It's a pull and a push, but the push is the most difficult part when it comes to cycling these ring muscle ups.
Lazar Jukic is just 3 away from closing out round number 1. Gudmundsson 7 away, Horvath 7 away as well, and Gabby McGowan has 12 left.
Sean, as you said, if he can get this done, getting to the rower right about that 10-minute mark, he finished the row in the toes to bar in under 4 minutes last time. So we're talking about, can anybody get to the toes to bar and get any reps there? Lazar, I mean, he has an opportunity to have a big chunk of toes to bar if he can keep the same pace he started with.
2 minutes 9 seconds was his row time from round 1. Is now Laura Horvath is going to make it back to the rower. The top score for the men from 2014 belonged to Rich Froning at 277 reps. Froning was able to do 17 reps on the toes to bar. And Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson on his final muscle up. Gabby McGowan with 10 to go.
Sean, we talked about this a little bit earlier once we got this, we heard this was announced. And we said, how amazing would it be if any of the women out there could beat or get close to the best male score from 10 years ago. You want to see how far we've progressed? Don't compare apples to apples. Let's do some apples to oranges here. It's the same number of cals between men and women. It's the same number of muscle-ups between men and women. And maybe we could have a female athlete beat the best score from the men 10 years ago.
Horvath is 10 calories into the 60-calorie row here in round 2. Jukic is now 25 calories in. Now Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson back onto the rower. First time he did this test, he was able to complete 56 calories in round 2. And Gabby McGowan now has 3 reps remaining on the muscle-ups. Lazar Jukic is now past the halfway point, 34 calories in, now 35 and counting. Gabby McGowan in the background there on her final rep of ring muscle-ups. And she is going to be able to get back to the rower. 2 minutes left here. Lazar Jukic is through 49 calories on this row.
He's starting to lengthen up his stroke a bit. Those middle 20 cals, he's doing about a half stroke, leaning more into the hips and legs than it was the upper body.
Bjorn Gudmundsson, I misspoke, I said 256, 251 in 2014. So Gudmundsson is going to beat that. Now Lazar Jukic is looking to beat Rich Froning's top score. Jukic did that row in under 3 minutes, so about 2:52 for Jukic, and now right to work on the toes to bar. 277, the top score for the men in 2014, and Jukic is now 11 away from that. Laura Horvath, meanwhile, is creeping up on the top score from the women from 2014, put up by Samantha Briggs of 256. Gudmundsson has beaten his score. And Lazar Jukic now 4 away from Rich Froding's mark. Gudmundsson is done. He'll get back to the toes to bar. 30 seconds to go. And Jukic now has the best score that we have ever seen in this test. Laura Horvath off the rower. 20 seconds for her now to amass some reps here on the toes to bar, something that we did not see from any woman in 2014. Seconds left. Lazar Jukic continuing to work. 287 if he gets credit for that last rep. We'll have to see if Jukic got credit for that. Right now his score reads at 286. Laura Horvath got some reps completed on the toes to bar, unofficially 6 for her. And Gabby McGowan gets back to the rower. We wondered how much progress we have made in 9 years. The answer is a lot. Absolutely incredible.
The pace at which Jukic started with was unreal, but still he was able to hold on to it the entire time.
What an impressive performance from Lazar Jukic. 286. Bjorn Karl Gudmundsson demolishes his score from 2014 and is 1 rep away from the best score we saw that year at 276. And Laura Horvath, night and day from her first go at this test.
And Sean, how great is that score from Rich Froding? I mean, nearly a decade later.
What an impressive way to start the season for Lazar Jukic. As you mentioned it, the pacing on point for him throughout.
And his pacing was. I'm not necessarily recommending that to anybody else as far as it comes to that, but how fast his transitions were. The big sets he did on toes to bar never ended up biting him in the long run. He was playing exactly to his skill set when he made his big move into the wall balls. Oh, had another rep to go before he got to the wall ball. So, but when he got here, both him and BKG went unbroken for the first 40 reps. I mean, look at just moving from one movement to the next, steady on the clean, singles right from the start, let that bar settle, get your hands on the bar. Then once they got to the rings, BKG had a couple of no reps. It actually slowed him down, I think, a bit more than we thought. But Laura Horvath, the way she navigated the first round of this was massively impressive. And then Jukic gets done with about 4 minutes left to go, gets off the rower in enough time to set the best score we've seen in that repeat. McGowan back to the rower. Only 21 women did that back in 2014. She was able to get back here. It's kicking things off for 23.1.
And Gabby McGowan able to get back to the rower as well. But Lazar Jukic, the best score that we have seen in this test ever. And he is with Lauren Smith.